everyone, welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars set review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Tatooine Homestead, set number 40451, with 217 pieces and ages 8+. This set is the May the 4th promo for 2021. I think you had to order, it was like $80 or more worth of LEGO on LEGO.com or in the LEGO store if you were going there physically, and this was for the May the 4th event that ran from May 1st to May 5th, if my memory serves me correctly. So this was a more so promotional item to spend more money on LEGO. In my case, I ended up getting the set by ordering the UCS R2-D2. So at the time of recording this, R2 is not complete. I'm about halfway through with building him. If you're watching this video in the future, it's very likely that the UCS R2 review is out on my channel. I'll link it right here if it is available to you. But if not, it will be coming soon. So, yeah. Anyways, there's not too much to say about this set. Obviously, no playability features because it is a collectible. But there are a few things to kind of talk about. And I want to start by talking about the building process for this set. So, the way the Tatooine Homestead set is built is it's kind of built in three little chunks. The first chunk that is built for the set, I'm going to move it a little bit closer here. The first chunk is this mountain range here. So you basically end up building this section right here and then kind of like this whole little mountain range thing. The next section you end up building is the homestead area, so kind of like this piece right here, and then the last section ends up being where the sandcrawler is on. So like, if I can show it properly, like where my finger is and then down is that third section. I definitely will say, I'm going to zoom out for this, that the mountain range was probably the most time-consuming part of the set, and it is the first part of the set you build. That's mainly because they have a lot of these cheese slopes and other slope pieces that you have to orient right, and it took up, obviously, the most time because the other two sections, the Lars Homestead here and then the Sandcrawler area, you can see it's relatively flat. There's not too much going on there, but this mountain range, there's a lot of pieces kind of involved there. And I would say like half of the build is just this mountain range alone. So just, you know, if you get your hands on this set, that's probably where you're going to be spending most of your time. But obviously nothing really, you know, it doesn't start looking like the Tatooine Homestead until you get to that second section where you're building the homestead. But there's a lot of really cool detail in here. I do like the way the mountain range turned out. It does look really cool. I like the sand colored parts as well as the darker sand color or rock colored parts. They didn't throw too many of those colors in there, which makes sense, and I don't think it's a bad thing that they didn't. I think it actually complements it well to have fewer of those like darker colored pieces, and it does look very slick. So kind of moving into the homestead, so you can see here is the Lars Homestead right here, and you know, obviously it's like micro scale, so but the way they designed it, it looks really, really cool. Obviously you got Luke's land speeder right here, and then kind of the inner part of the homestead, which is kind of tough to see because there's a shadow. I'm going to flip it upside down. It might be a little bit better in this view, but there's a few little Lego pieces in there that kind of accumulate. If you look at that inner part of the Lars Homestead, there's a lot actually going on in there. There's a lot of different contraptions and parts within that section of the homestead, so I feel like, you know, they didn't throw too much in there, but they threw in just enough to really make it look, you know, decent, especially if you're looking at it from this range. You know, not necessarily head on, but like more at kind of a surface level here. But yeah, you have your little moisture harvesting contraptions kind of littered throughout. So if you look at the Lars Homestead in episode 4, this does look pretty accurate. Maybe not 100%, right? I think the house was actually on this side, and then that part was over here in the movie. I might be wrong here and just kind of rambling about that, but I think, I don't know. They just had to kind of make it look decent. So yeah, other than those little details, there's not really much else going on in this section. Like I said, the mountain range, it looks really, really good. But moving on into this third section, this is probably the most important part. Debatably, if you're not talking about the homestead here, this is probably the most important section otherwise. So we got the sandcrawler here, which it's a really nice build, and it actually comes off pretty easily. It's held in place by that stud right there, as you can see. But taking a look at the sandcrawler, they did a really cool job on this. I don't know, it turned out really cool. I like the wheels. They're actually these individual parts here that you can take off, but they actually look really, really cool and complement the set very nicely. There are these printed pieces on the side, so there's one here and an identical one on the side, and they are printed. So there are no stickers for this set, which is always lovely. But yeah, it's just a really cool little micro design for the sandcrawler, and yeah, it looks really, really nice. Alright, so I just got the sandcrawler back on. And then of course these little studs here, these are all different characters. Sorry about the light being so harsh there, I wasn't expecting that, but it is pretty reflective given that it's new Lego. But you got all of your different characters here that met up in this scene. So you got the two Jawas, you got one right there, one right there. Of course they're studs, so you got to kind of use your imagination. I think this is tough to say. 3PO's right here. R2's right there. R2's the silver stud. And then I'm pretty sure, I think this is Luke over here, and then this is Uncle Owen right here. Or vice versa. Not quite sure. But those are the characters that are represented there as the studs. So, and meeting by the sandcrawler, obviously, to purchase the droids. And then, of course, on the front, you have the Lego Star Wars 2021 printed tile. So, again, no sticker there. That is a printed piece. And, yeah, I mean, they also have a really nice looking border. You can see the bottom is mostly, you can see the snot technique, which for the most part the snot technique is applied here pretty nicely. There are just some parts where you do see studs. And if you don't know what snot stands for, in the LEGO community, snot stands for studs not on top. It's a very popular building, well, yeah, it's a pretty popular building technique for mocks. I don't know how many mocks actually utilize it, hence why I'm not so certain it's that popular, but it is very cool to actually see a little diorama that actually, for the most part, uses the snot technique. The only other thing I want to mention for this set that's kind of, I don't know, this is maybe nitpicky, but it is what it is. This part right here is very touchy, and what I mean by that is it's very easy to move this top part, because these are two separate pieces. So obviously you have this piece here. Let me get into focus here. You have that piece there, and then you have this piece that actually goes on top there. Wow, having focusing trouble. So this piece goes on top of this piece. And it's very hard to get it on. You can see that just flew off. Let me go grab that. But it's very, once you even have it on, it's very tough to kind of keep that on, especially if you start messing with it. It's very tough to put that top piece in. And then obviously if you even just like touch it slightly, you can see that it's already like tilting and starting to get out of that position. So that isn't so like smooth and stable. Of course, it's a micro build, so it's not meant to be stable per se, but that's the only part that I actually had trouble with for this set, was that little moisture farm thing up there. But otherwise, that is the micro build itself, the May the 4th, 2021 LEGO promotion, which for the most part was received very well in the LEGO community. I know a lot of people disliked the 2020 May the 4th promo, but this one seemed to be universally liked for the most part. So, and I think it's honestly a really cool promotion that they did, and it's a classic setting. One other thing I want to mention, I'm just going to grab the box here so I can look at it. The box, I thought, maybe opening the box, it would there would be like pictures inside the box. There isn't. There are pictures on the back of the box, which is really cool to throw in there to kind of show you certain sections of where this build, you know, what this build is based off of, right? They show you the little scene there with Luke and Owen purchasing R2 and 3PO, and then they also show you a sandcrawler. And I thought, well, maybe if you open the box, they'll have like a bunch of pictures from the Tatooine Homestead there in Episode 4, and they didn't. I think they missed out on an opportunity. It would have been really cool and a really good reason to actually keep the box, but they actually didn't do anything special in that realm. So a little bit disappointing, but not necessarily needed. You know, it would have just been an extra little thing that would have really, I think, made fans happy and would have been really cool. But yeah, that is the Tatooine Homestead Lego set. Again, really, really nice collector's item. Looks really cool in a Lego collection. So I'm pretty happy to have this myself. And yeah, if you can get your hands on it online at a reasonable price where people aren't selling it for ridiculous amounts like $50, I would go for it. It's definitely worth having if you're more of a collector and you like more of the display sort of sets. Like I said, there's no playability for this, so not necessarily a great Lego set to get for a kid unless they like displaying, you know, sets and they like those collectors sort of sets. But yeah, for a collector, this set is definitely really, really sweet. So yeah, that's all I have to say about the 2021 May the 4th promo, Tatooine Homestead. Thank you so much for watching this review, and I will see you on the next video.